Okay.
I'd like to call the meeting to order for the City of Oxnard Council Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting. Madam Clerk, can you take the roll, please?
Member Zaragoza?
Here.
Chair Perello?
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you.
The posting of the agenda. The agenda for this meeting was posted on the City Hall Bulletin Board on February 21st, 2023.
Thank you very much. We have our city attorney here. She's under the weather, but she's still joining us. A strong trooper right to the end here. Appreciate, wish you the very best. Hope you speedy recovery. And thank you for joining the meeting. With that, can we have the Pledge of Allegiance and the gentleman will lead us? And I apologize. Can you give us your name first? Because
Jose Arreola, Fleet
Thank you.
Services Manager. Right hand over your heart, ready to begin. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And can we have a moment of silence for President Carter and what's going on with his life? In my opinion, a hell of an example for a human being. Good. Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments for items not on the agenda?
Chair Perello, we do not have any speakers virtually or in person for this item.
Thank you very much. The next item is the consent agenda. We have the approval of the minutes. The recommendation of the Public Works and Transportation Committee approve the minutes for January 24th, 2023, the regular meeting as presented. Mayor, do you see any need for corrections or changes?
No, sir.
I don't either, and I'll make a motion to approve the
Chair
minutes.
Perello, excuse me. We do not have any speakers virtually or in person for this item either.
Thank you for catching me on that. I appreciate that.
Second.
Okay, we vote, please.
Motion carries 2-0.
Thank you. The next item is reports. D1, Public Works Department, subject, Public Project Agreement 323-00257 with Black Point Group Construction and Management Incorporated for on-call fencing repair services project, a rebid, specification number SD23-53R. The recommendation that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the City Council approve and authorize an agreement with Black Point Group Construction and Management for a total amount not to exceed $400,000 for the 3-year term for on-call fencing repair services. This item is categorically exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act Title 14 California Code of Regulations 15301D. Are there any public comments on this item, Madam Clerk?
Chair Perello, we do not have any speakers virtually or in person for this item.
Thank you. There was a presentation, but due to Measure M and the dispute with respect to Measure M and what is going on with allowing the public to see the presentation, it's only available on the internet. Mayor, do you have any questions? Or?
No, only this is a 3-year term, Steve, you know, and so my understanding there was, I think, two companies that applied, but then Black Point was the one that met all the conditions.
Chair Perello and Mayor Zaragoza, you are correct.
So, and there's a 3-year term and as needed, right?
Correct. This is an on-call that's available for all the public works divisions to share in this on-call services. So special districts will lead this contract. So anytime a task order is issued, they'll be working with purchasing to verify that the funds and the contract services are available.
And Steve, what fences, for example, are we looking at?
Numerous fences throughout the city. So when we look at, for our assessment districts, LMDs, many of them have fences around the perimeter of the property. We have water retention basins with fences around them, but then we also get into perimeters of city parks that may be adjoining to residential homes. And then for water and wastewater, they have fences, as well as the ER and transportation center.
And those are the ones with those are safety issues too, that's important to fence the
Correct.
waterways.
Correct. A recent example would be the Patterson fence. So prior to the rains, we had the Patterson fence where if someone was to fall into the drainage ditch, so we had to have a fence contractor come out and button that up before the rain started.
And that's excellent too, excellent point, because that way the public can understand why the fences, where are they, but some are health and safety issue parts, and also, for example, maybe over at the wastewater yard or the water yard or ER, and it's more of a safety issue then, also.
Correct.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the staff report. And I also want to thank you for attending the Mandalay Bay meeting the other day, Mr. Howlett. Thank you. The issue with respect, as the staff report says, the agreement is tentative for 3 years, and the staff will work with the neighborhood council. It's not something that the neighborhood council will be surprised about, or that the neighborhood council will not be informed of what's going on if any work's to be done. My understanding from the staff report.
Correct. A lot of these requests, especially for the assessment districts, comes from the neighborhood councils. We have some pending requests right now that we were waiting till we had this agreement in place. So we receive them either through 311 requests or direct communications to our staff. But again, other divisions can utilize this as well. But we will coordinate that with them, as well as whenever there are fence repairs, we will reach out to any neighboring residents to let them know that this is going to happen in case there's any noise that might impact them.
And just to share with the mayor and anyone listening tonight, I left the River Park. There was a CFD special meeting budget presentation, and there were residents asking about the fence between River Park, the school, and the levee. And the staff answered the questions extremely well. There was, no feedback, but that's the type of fence. I would like to add this. There are some, and the staff that was at the meeting was Mr. Anthony Miller and Eric Story. The issues that do come where there's a fence that the residents may not know about, whose jurisdiction it is are areas where watershed protection has charge of the canals. And some of those fences, I don't know if we have a joint responsibility, but they're not always the responsibility of the city of Oxnard. The one that comes to mind all the time is right at the corner right across from the old Levitt's building. People continually pull a wire out, unzip the fence so they can get down in the drain and go underneath. But those are the only questions I have. I appreciate the report, and it's something we need, and we got to take care of the city. And it's not just to make us look good, it's to keep us out of lawsuits and liability for things that could go wrong. Thank you.
Thank you. It's health and safety issue. Thank you. Motion to approve.
Okay, and there's no public comments on this call-in?
Chair Perrello, no, we do not have any public speakers virtually or in person for this item.
I will second that, and I'll just share this with members that are here. There will be an election to fill the 6th district coming up shortly, and I imagine we'll have a third party here to be asking questions, so maybe the meetings will go just a hair longer, because it's, there's a lot of complaints from the public that it's slam, bam, wham. It's not slam, bam, wham. There's questions that are asked. The public has a tremendous opportunity to take advantage of that, and we don't have any.
And these are important issues, like the fencing, and that's why I mentioned the fencing, Steve and Michael. That's really important. Thank you.
We have a motion. We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion carries 2-0.
Thank you. The next item, number 2, Public Works Department. Subject, agreement 323-00154 with Auto Body International for light and medium duty paint and body. Recommendation that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the City Council approve and authorize an agreement with Auto Body International for a 1-year term with the option to extend for 2 consecutive 1-year periods for a maximum contract amount for a maximum contract term of 3 years and a total contract not to exceed amount over the entire possible contract term of $375,000 for light and medium-duty paint and bodywork. This item is not considered a project subject to the California Environmental Quality Act. And again, because of Measure M and those that felt that it would benefit the city, I personally do not believe it did, we will not have a presentation. It was available on the internet. It's a good presentation. Do we have any public speakers on this item?
Chair Perrello, we do not have any speakers virtually or in person for this item.
Thank you. Mayor, do you have any questions?
Yes, my understanding, according to your presentation, that we have about 955 vehicles in the city, and this is paint jobs and other medium painting, light painting for vehicles that are minor scratches and minor accidents. And my understanding, you had 45 vehicles that needed work last year, and my understanding that you had no bidders except for one, right?
Actually, good evening, council member and Mayor Zaragoza. Jose Arreola, Fleet Services Manager. We did have approximately 45 repairs last year. It's an estimated amount from the invoices and the work that we performed. We did have actually 3 bidders. The first time around, we did not have any, as some of these shops are local shops. We've been dealing with them for over 20 plus years. They weren't familiar with the actual bidding process with the online stuff. So they were reached out and they were still interested. So they educated them on how to go ahead and do that. And we ended up with 3 bidders. So we had let me see, we had Auto Body International, Oxnard Auto Body, and I believe it was, the last one is Commercial Auto Body. So
they didn't know the procedure, so
yes,
that's
now they
right.
know the procedure. So this just is going to expedite our repairs, less downtime, no more having to get 3 bids every single vehicle because of the rules that we have to follow, procurement rules.
That's good that we keep our fleet up to par and looking good. One of the things I mentioned to our chair, Perrello, that I remember Earl Scheib, $29.95.
Those days are long.
That was 200 years ago. Even Alex doesn't
wish.
remember Earl Scheib. The city used to use Earl Scheib there on 5 Points in the past,
Yeah.
many years ago. But I think it's good. I think it's a 3-year term, which I think from 23 to 26,
Yes.
which I think is needed.
Yes, we have it's a 1 year and then the option to extend.
To extend for 2
yes,
more years, yeah.
Yes, we've been dealing with this company for a long time, so we don't foresee any issues, but, you never know.
And they're located here in Oxnard.
They're here in Oxnard, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Number one, a compliment to the city's management staff for reaching out to bring the people that were bidding, and they'd been a long time working with the city of Oxnard so they could get up to speed. It does 2 things. It shows that the city is not just looking for the cheapest price they can get, and it also shows that we're playing fair. They still go with we still go with the lowest responsible bid.
Yes.
But people that have been doing business with us, if the rules have changed and they feel uncomfortable, we're bending over backwards to put a level playing field and potentially keep the jobs and the money in the community.
Yes.
And I appreciate that. The second question I have, with respect to accidents that may take place, collisions, not accidents, the wrong word, collisions. When we have the work done and there are charges that other insurance companies or the other parties may be responsible, do we get full compensation for the work that's charged us?
We put in, depending on the vehicle, for example, police vehicle, if a police vehicle's wrecked, insurance typically only estimate the price of the actual vehicle, not the equipment. But I've had conversations with the insurers, and we submit after they put their amount, we submit our labor and all that stuff for us to get compensated for removing radios and any of that equipment, so we do get some money back. I wish we would get more, but, you know.
Jose, what about when there's another party who was responsible for the collision? Do we pursue their insurance to reimburse our
We do,
costs?
yes, we do. We pursue their insurance and we get reimbursement from that.
Does, if I can ask city manager, pursuing that is the city attorney's responsibility to go after them, or what department, who goes after the money?
Risk management,
Risk management.
Risk management.
Risk management, okay,
yes.
And Wile E. Coyote.
okay.
Good.
The city, ladies and gentlemen, the city is a different city, and we look out for our own, and we look out for what we're entitled to, and we'll fight for it. And that's very comfortable as a councilman to say that. I have no other questions. I'm glad, and I will say, I do remember Earl Scheib. When I was in high school, a friend got a paint job, and we thought it was fabulous. And I've met a few people that have very nice lowriders, and when I hear the price that they paid, people used to, as the mayor said a long time ago, you could buy a house for the price of some of these paint jobs.
Well, like you said, you can even buy sandpaper now for $29.95.
That's right, that's right. Mr. Aurelio, thank you very much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
Good job.
it. Do you have a recommendation?
Make motion to approve.
I'll second that. Please vote.
Motion carries 2-0.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, I'd just like to share that we continue to have excellent people in the city of Oxnard and PW. You guys are doing a good job. Steve and Michael. Keep up the good work, Michael.
Do you have any recommendations for future agenda?
No, sir.
I would also like to echo the mayor's comments. There have been, we've gone through some, not natural disasters, but we've had some weather that we're not accustomed to. Public Works has taken care of it, from the sandstorms, from the streets that have been blocked by the sand, from Public Works cleaning the streets out. I hope that there are some neighborhood council chairs listening to this, and I can entice them to send a thank you to Public Works for keeping their neighborhoods clean. Whether it's trees down, trash cans blown around, storm drains plugged up. To my knowledge, there's not many neighborhood council chairs that get out and do the work. It's Public Works. And I'm grateful that they're working for us. Thank you very much for the work you're doing.
And replacing good trash cans.
Yeah.
Bad trash cans, good trash cans. Thank you, Brian.
Any comments by our city attorney?
No comment.
Okay, again, wish
Get
you
well.
speedy recovery. City manager? No? Public Works, again, thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.